Do you want me to give a brief overview of the contract, or do you just want to have questions?
Under the circumstances, we have the backup materials. Let's just turn it over to the legislators to see if anyone here has any questions on this item. Legislator DeReggie Whitten.
The old days. I totally, I feel so bad for what you're going through.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Please,
I thought it was important to get here because it's a very large ticket item. The way I justified it, to be very honest with you, is that this is going to save lives in the county.
Good.
My dad would completely understand.
well, God bless, we're with you on that.
Thank you.
We just had I know there's a number of things that we're hoping that this contract will improve, but one of the issues that we heard about this morning was just with the communication in our jails,
Mhm.
correction facilities. If
Right.
can you just assure us, or at least confirm that
Sure.
that you're confident that these improvements will improve the communication in the correction facilities?
Absolutely. So the situation at the jail is they were on an old system. It was an analog system. We replaced that system with a small portion of the build out of the system that's in front of you now. If you can imagine just a newer television, right? You have an old cathode ray, now we have a flat screen. So there are some issues that are going on in the jail right now. There's some user error that takes place, and there's also some technical issues that have taken place. So it's sort of a combination of both. This particular contract will take what's a 6-site system. The number of sites that you have is equivalent to how strong and robust the system is, and bring it out to a 23-site system. So any sort of coverage issues that the jail may be having right now would be dramatically diminished. And I don't believe that we really have coverage issues. We have other issues that are taking place there right now. Motorola, as we speak, is actually at the jail doing signal testing in the 2 locations that the jail was complaining that there were problems. Above and beyond that, when I walked in the room, I met with the COBA president, both the chiefs outside as well, and we're going to establish a committee to sit down with representatives from the communications section from the jail, as well as representatives from the COBA union and representatives from the Chief of Support's office. Sit down, they'll bring back whatever issues and problems they're having, and Motorola, by the way, and any issues that they have, we will run down and ensure that they get remedied at a much faster pace.
Terrific. I truly appreciate that. And just one other quick question. From what I understand, the frequency that we're using now is going to be discontinued by the state or something. Maybe I'm not saying
I can
as
explain it.
sophisticated as you can. Okay. So is there any way that we can get any kind of reimbursement or funding through any
Sure.
types of grants because of that situation?
Okay, so the actual contract itself was one of the impetuses here was the 2012 Middle Class Tax Reduction and Job Creation Act. In that act is the reason why we have to abandon the 500 frequency. They're taking it away and they're giving it to television stations. On February 2021, so in about 2.5 months, the auctions begin for the 500 megahertz. In the law, it says the proceeds from those auctions are to be made available to defer the cost to the jurisdictions that have to roll off of the 500 megahertz. So it's in the law. There are no realized proceeds right now because they haven't auctioned it yet. And then the federal government is supposed to promulgate rules and regulations for the distribution of those funds based upon need.
It's great. So that's a possibility that we will be getting some type of
There is.
federal.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope someone keeps an eye on that because we should really make sure that we get our share.
Yeah, Motorola is actually has lobbyists in there for that. I have made aware our personnel accounting as well as our grant section. So we'll be monitoring the situation to see when that actually takes place.
Thank you, and you did a very professional job today.
Thank you. Trying my best not to think about that.
Sometimes that's the best thing to do.
Let me just reiterate. Obviously, one of the major concerns is safety of police officers, of our correctional officers, etc. The fact that you came back here to make this the representations, your commitment is extraordinary to the officers and residents of this county. And I don't know if any of us could do what you're doing right now. So,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that.
I don't know if Ryan Sullivan, the president of COBA, wanted to add anything, but it's heartening to hear that you're going to be included, their representatives in the committee.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I know this is a keep my mask on. It's a very tough time dealing with this. I certainly give my heartfelt condolences to Chief Walsh on the passing of his father. I know his father for many years, working for the county with public safety. And I can relate what he's going through because I think I've said it before here at the Ledge, my own brother died of COVID on April 1st, and I had a first cousin that died of it about a month later. So that's why we're all wearing masks. That's why we're all here. This thing is not a joke. So take it completely seriously because it hits home numerous times. If I could just, I don't want to hold Chief Walsh here. I know he's got to go address his family and be with them. I had a whole statement prepared here for things that I'm going to do, but I'm not going to hold him up with this in case you had any questions. My main thing that I just wanted to put on the record here today is that for years we've had a lot of problems with our radios. Going back to when Sheriff Spizzato was here, when Sheriff Flood was here, the old system would go down like a computer system goes down. The whole system goes down and we're left without radios. I had hoped that this was all going to be rectified this year when we were getting this whole new system was rolled out. It was the rolled out that was put into place the beginning of July, around July 9th, I believe it went online. And the only problem is that from that point on, we started having different problems with the radios. There was problems with sporadic broadcast outages where certain people could not hear broadcasts that were coming from our dispatchers. So, there was routine tests were being done all over the place, and Motorola was saying it wasn't them. We still had Eastern Communications here. I believe they're still here to a certain extent. I may be wrong on that end. I know they're supposed to be out by the end of the year. But both of those systems were saying that their stuff is up and running, and a lot of it was being attributed to user error on our officers' part. Except it kept happening. It kept happening. It kept happening. It kept happening. We were having alarms that we weren't hearing, radio alarms, emergency alarms for medical reasons for the inmates. Officers were involved in altercations with inmates because the inmates were fighting. And we just kept having these issues, and there would be test after test, and it kept coming back saying that everything was fine. It was finally conveyed to me within the last couple of weeks, because these issues seem to be stepping up more in frequency, that there is definitely a problem somewhere related to the programming of this. Somehow it just wasn't meshing. I want to make it absolutely clear that I am here in full support of this item that's on the agenda today. And as the chief said, it's a large ticket item. I'm in full support of it, and I'm hopeful that the implementation of that is going to get rid of a lot of these issues. But we haven't been able to figure out what's causing the issues at the jail now, and we're kind of sitting here with our rear end in the breeze a little bit. With that being said, I filed a class action grievance on Friday for health and safety in the contract that these issues that we weren't getting to the core of what was causing all these problems with the radios. You'd have two people standing next to each other with their radios programmed exactly the same way, the volume on exactly the same way. A broadcast would go out from our dispatch, and one would hear it, the other one doesn't hear it. Then when they repeat back, they don't know how to report back because some of them aren't hearing the broadcast from Central, and it's just something that I can't allow to go on. I can't allow it to go on without addressing it from my end, and I certainly hope that this item that's here today will help fix it, but we got to find what's causing the issue now before we wait for the rest of this stuff to be implemented. We talked about, and I did have a conversation with Chief Walsh, we're going to form a committee, and I certainly hope that the police department, the sheriff's department, whether anybody else wants to be involved, I'm not sure if DPW, OEM, or any of those people are experiencing any of the same issues with the radios. But I'd like to definitely form this committee sooner than later. I know it's holiday season and all that stuff, but with these outages, this is definitely something that needs to be addressed, and I would certainly ask if any of the legislators here would like to be a part of that committee also, because that's how a lot of things get pushed along, especially when there's big ticket items coming. I would appreciate that. So
I'm sure we'll have members of the majority and minority would like to.
Correct. That's who I'm addressing, both sides. So just to have it on the record, I filed the class action grievance, and we're going to have this committee together, and we need to sooner or later get to the bottom of this issue. And I appreciate your time, and again, my condolences to Chief Walsh and his family. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Chief Walsh? Again, thank you.
Would you like me to clear up anything that Brian said? I can give you a little bit of clarity on some things that have already been taking place. I'm okay to be here if you need me to be. I'll take a moment if you want me to. No? Okay. Again, thank you very much for your considerations today.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.